It seems as though everybody is interested in high-efficiency, eco-friendly products and services for our homes these days. But there's another issue as well, and that is home and business construction that can stand up to the very tough punches thrown by Mother Nature. Here in Oklahoma, that means tornadoes. Along the Gulf Coast, it means hurricanes. And if you want a super sturdy home, one of the latest innovations is to build it out of concrete. Joining me to talk about this is Jason Fisher with BuildBlock Building Systems. And what better time to talk about this than right now. We're smack in the middle of tornado season. Thanks for being here.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right. Give us some idea in layman's terms now, not too technical. What is so extraordinary about a concrete home?
They can withstand virtually anything that you can throw at them. They are fire resistant. They are tornado resistant, hurricane resistant. Bugs don't eat them.
That's for sure.
You know, the mold doesn't grow on them. There's a lot of extraordinary things that are involved with ICFs.
Okay. People out there probably like me are thinking, what are you talking about? Concrete blocks? You're not really.
It's not really, no.
Yeah.
It's a EPS or a styrofoam block that's hollow in the middle. And you put rebar in it and then pour concrete in the center of it. And so you've got 6 inches of solid concrete and 2.5 inches of foam, just like on your coffee cup.
So every wall is built out of this?
Every exterior wall is.
Okay,
yes.
Okay. And what makes that so strong? You know, compared
concrete
to...
is inherently strong.
Yeah.
If you look at the Romans, they're the ones that invented concrete, and their stuff is still standing.
That's true. Okay. Do you test this for strength? How do you test it?
Absolutely. There's rebar inside of it, and you can, just by regular engineering charts, figure out how much strength that structure is going to have as far as the rebar goes. We've also tested it in wind tunnels.
Yeah.
We've shot 2x4s at it at 200 miles an hour, and they don't go through. It's just stuff like that. Fire testing, we've got 3-hour fire rating on it.
Okay. You told me a little story about a cabbage.
That's right.
There's a way to test it.
Yeah, the Portland Cement Association here recently shot a cabbage through a 2x4 wall. Now, that's what most people have here in Oklahoma, and in fact in the United States. It just went right through it. Now, they've shot 2x4s at my walls at 200 miles an hour, and they do not penetrate.
That's really incredible. All right, what does it take to build them? Is it a much more lengthy or involved process than a regular home?
No, it's actually a lot faster. It's a lot faster to build it out of an ICF, but keep in mind an ICF, or an insulating concrete form, takes a little expertise because they are so much more energy efficient. And so, as a result, you're going to have to downsize your heating and air system. You're going to have to pay particular attention to the insulation above the ICF or up in the attic area.
Do we have some examples of these
Absolutely.
around Oklahoma that we can look at?
Yeah, downtown there is a couple of very large projects going on. The Brownstones is one of the ones that's most prominent. So yeah, you can see them all over the place.
Okay, I can imagine that after Katrina, and even during Katrina, you were anxiously looking at some of these because there were some of them, right, existing in Louisiana and Mississippi. How did they do?
One of the only ones that is standing in that area is an insulating concrete form structure. And there's a famous picture in a lot of the trade magazines of that structure. It's an aerial shot of that home, and everything else is totally wiped out. The trees and the houses and everything are down to slabs, and this is the only thing that's standing.
So what's happened post-Katrina? Have there been a lot of these built?
There have been quite a few of them built in the Mississippi area. They're coming along in New Orleans, but New Orleans is still kind of in that mix with the insurance problems and code problems. They haven't figured out what they're going to do yet.
I know we must have a lot of fans around Oklahoma of Extreme Home Makeover. I'm captivated by that show. And one of these houses was a concrete home, right?
Absolutely.
And you were there.
I was there.
Tell us.
It was incredible. Those buildings are put up in a week.
Yeah, I know.
And our ICF, it's difficult enough to have concrete cure fast, and we had to have that concrete wall cure so fast that we could put the trusses on it in 3 hours.
All right, now this was in Vermont,
It was
right?
in Vermont, Athens, Vermont.
Tell us a bit about the family and your whole experience.
It was an incredible experience. I didn't really get to meet the family. They had a child that was about 1 year old, and he had a lot of spinal problems and birth defects and things like that. The neat thing about that whole project, though, was during that time, the people can go off and do any kind of vacation they want. These people chose to go up and donate their time at a local hospital and help people out that had that same problem with their kids. So,
meanwhile, you're sweating it out, trying to figure out how to do this in a week.
Right. Yeah.
And how did it turn out?
It was great. That home was tested to be one of the tightest structures that they had ever tested in that area. Tight means extremely energy efficient, and so yeah, I was thrilled with the outcome. It really turned out well.
And when you see pictures of that home, you'd never believe it was made of concrete.
Yeah.
And that's the other question I have about the aesthetics of all of this. I mean, it doesn't sound like it could be very attractive.
The neat thing about it is you can make them look like anything you want.
How do you do that?
Well, there's a lot of different ways. Any kind of exterior will go on an ICF structure.
Okay.
From rock to brick to siding or stucco, anything, you can make it look like anything you want.
We're all thinking about costs these days with the economy the way it is. What's the relative cost? Regular home, concrete home, more expensive?
The difference is about 3 to 8% more expensive. But the neat thing about it is you can get an energy efficient mortgage that takes care of that. So you'll actually, they're loaning you more money on that same structure if it's built out of an ICF than they would if it was a wood structure.
And in terms of energy efficiency, any statistics about what you save?
Absolutely, yeah. First of all, you're going to have to downsize your heating and air system.
Right, you mentioned that.
And that's going to be quite a bit less. That's going to save you money up front. But the neat thing about it is with an ICF structure, it saves you money throughout the life of the structure. And you're talking about feasibly a life of about 500 years or longer.
Wow.
So it's going to pay for itself very quickly. In about 5 years, you'll have a return on it.
Well, Jason, this has been very enlightening to me. Thanks for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me.